everyone. This is PHTV4. I'm Sue Jankowski. Welcome to Meet with Moraine. We do this program every month so you can learn all about Moraine Valley Community College, which is located in Palos Hills. And we always have someone that is going to tell us about a certain program or a discipline at the school. And today we're really fortunate to have Annie Rasmussen, and she is the program coordinator of the Addiction Studies program. Thanks for coming in, Annie.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
It's so nice. I think, first of all, it would be nice for our viewers to know, how did you become involved at Moraine Valley? Like, what was your path that led you to go there, to study there, to work there?
Yes, yeah. So I'm actually an alumna of the program that I'm now a coordinator of.
Oh, good.
I had the wonderful experience of going through the program myself after I had gotten my master's degree in general counseling. I decided to know more about addictions and found out that Moraine Valley has a wonderful program that would give me this, the option or the opportunity to become certified specifically in alcohol and drug issues. So I went through that program myself and graduated from there, continued working outside of Moraine, and then kept in contact and eventually was offered an opportunity to become an adjunct. And then I started working as an adjunct, and when the full-time position became available, I applied for that, and I became the coordinator. And there I am.
That is terrific.
Yeah.
Well, so how long have you been there?
I have been working there since 2016.
Okay, quite a while.
Yeah.
Great.
Like
well, I'm really interested in the Addiction Studies program. I really don't know anything about it, so everything you tell me will be new. So I guess you talked about alcohol and drug addiction. What kind of topics? And besides that, are there any other addictions? It sounds like those are pretty big.
Right. So the program is designed or geared towards that you can take an exam with the state. Illinois Certification Board is our accrediting body that will administer a test that then when you pass that test, you will become certified alcohol and drug counselor. But we do know in the mental health field that there are a lot of other types of addictions too. And we do talk about that in the program, but it is sort of like you don't get, certified to become like a gambling, for instance, counselor specifically. But we do touch on like gambling, shopping, even eating disorders are considered a form of addictions.
Yeah, right.
And there are many other sex and gaming, there are many other types of addictions that we call process addictions, and we talk about them as well.
Okay. And with some of those things that you learn with how to work with alcohol and drug addiction, I'm guessing can be applied to these other things that people are experiencing.
There are many, yeah. Like for the most part, it's very overlapping. And oftentimes people will have multiple issues that are also, overlapping. So somebody can have a gambling disorder, for instance, and at the same time have a substance use disorder.
Yes.
And both of them obviously ideally needs to be treated, and the ways that they are treated are very much the same. Because. In many ways, addiction is addiction. It's really the same thing that it does to the brain. The added component with the substances is that you change more physiologically because of the negative impact of the substances physiologically in your body compared to if you were having more of a process addiction that is only behavioral, where you have kind of like compulsive behaviors.
I see. Okay, so there is a definite distinction between one and another that would be handled differently. The advising you would do, or I don't know what you call it when someone's in like a treatment program. It's kind of, an advisory kind of thing.
clients that come through treatment for alcohol and substance use, they will usually be going through, depending on the severity of their situation and their condition, but they will be going through usually a lot of group therapy, and sometimes they will have started out with detoxification at the hospital before they then get transferred or referred to some kind of like a behavioral treatment where they are like learning about how to cope better with stressors and things like that, how to regulate their emotions better and all of those kind of things. With substance use, they will often too be offered the opportunity to get some medical treatment alongside that can curb their cravings, like naltrexone or Vivitrol. Those are some of the things that are being offered, or like Antabuse, those kind of things that can help them overcome the physical cravings of using the substance. So that'll go along with like the more therapeutic kind of like part of it. Whereas when you're having process addictions, the medical component is usually, like where they're getting medications, is usually not as, is not as often offered because it's not, considered as like critical in their treatment.
Okay. This sounds complicated. It really does. So when you're a student coming in and wanting to become a counselor, advisor, what kind of job would these, where would they find employment, I guess, and what's the path to that? Like how much schooling do they need? And I know there's like certifications, but is there like a 2-year kind of degree? I know I'm asking a lot of questions now, but I just do, I want to understand the process of this.
Right. So what our program does is that, so we have two sort of like tracks, I like to call them, the associate's degree and the certificate degree. The associate's degree is a composition of the more general education classes and then all of the addiction-specific classes. And the certification degree only has the addiction studies classes or the addiction-specific classes. So that one is shorter, but for you to sit for the exam with the state, you have to have 2 years of work experience in the field in addition to these kind of like addiction-specific the training that is there, So back in time, like a decade or two ago, there were more people working in the field that didn't have licenses and certifications already. It was just like a more free-flowing kind of like thing back then. And today there are all of these different requirements. So we do not see many that are that already work in the field without any kind of like prior training and certifications already. So by far, most of our students go through the associate's degree program or track. And that takes them about 2 years, 2 to 3 years. A lot of them are part-time, so it'll prolong usually into about 3 years before they're done. But they can, being full-time students, they can, it's designed to actually be done after 2 years. Okay,
if they can be a full-time student.
And where they would be working then, you were asking about that?
Yes.
So there are a lot of different treatment substance use clinics and agencies around locally and obviously in Chicago. And that's where these certified alcohol and drug counselors, they can find work. Many places it's a requirement that they have this certification to work specifically with this population. Other types it's just a prefer thing. And then they usually will have the requirement for master's degrees in social work or counseling in addition to that.
Okay, so, I mean, to me, this seems like a very complicated and difficult occupation. Now, if they get their 2-year degree, and then it takes 2 years of employment to then get your license, take the test.
That's only if they have not done their associate's degree.
Oh, I see.
If they do this associate's degree,
Okay.
they can sit for the exam right away, and they can
Okay.
find employment right away.
Oh, okay.
And there's a high need for them.
Well, I think there is.
Yes, they fly off the,
They're just like, yay, somebody graduated,
right,
we need them.
Yeah. Oftentimes they actually get hired where they're doing the internship, which is the last part of our program.
Okay. Now, where would they be hired? Like at a hospital, or I don't know where.
So like typically they get hired at, as I mentioned before, like different kind of like treatment facilities that focusing on alcohol and drug use. So those would be like agencies in the area or in Chicago and like, anywhere else. So they're only certified in Illinois. And if they want to like transfer to out of state, to an agency out of state, they would have to ideally work for 2 years in Illinois before they can effectively transfer the certification requirements here. But in hospitals, unfortunately, currently, it's hard for them to get employment in hospitals. It's just a higher level of,
education that they need?
Yeah, well, yeah. So probably you can say that, but it really comes down to that because all of the hospitals are very, very locked in with insurance issue, like all of that, the insurance part of it. They are very, they typically require licensure in the state. And this certification is not a licensure. So they just need that licensure to kind of like get employed at the hospital.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
So if they're getting like a 2-year degree, which means they can get a job right away, and you did mention the word intern at some point. So are they also doing in the 2-year program, is there like an internship that is provided?
Right, yeah,
for
we
them?
have a wonderful internship section. 2 semesters are spent at the end of our program doing an internship where we have to be we have to have a contract with state-approved agencies to make sure that everything is done in the right way, and that they are following all the rules for privacy rights and confidentialities and all of that kind of, all those kind of things. So when the students have completed about 30 hours of our program, then they are ready. They are eligible to kind of like go into the internship. And that takes 2 semesters. Sometimes they take a class alongside that. But in those internships, they really get excellent hands-on experience. They get to try to like really, practice their skills from the classes, what they've learned in terms of doing group counseling, individual intakes and assessments of the clients that they work with out there. So, usually I hear from my students that, kind of like it all comes together when they're going through the internship.
Makes sense. Now I understand what you were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that are so nice about our program because I really feel like there's a lot more to learn as a newly minted graduate, of course, but they really it really kind of like comes together for them when they're doing the internship. That's what I hear. So they feel a lot more confident moving forward in the field. Yes, you sort of like indicated, it is a complex field.
Yes, very challenging. And I would think any kind of experience that they can have prior to like taking on a full-time job would be just so beneficial. With so many jobs, it's great to have an internship, so you really see, if that's something you want.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of, are you having to, take all the people in, a lot of people wanting this? It just seems like such a hard job. Do a lot of people are interested in this? I mean, because so many people need help nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
So we really need people to, take on this challenge.
Yeah.
Are you having a lot of students coming in wanting to do this?
So I would love to have a lot more. Unfortunately, we do have students that are really passionate about it and go, excitedly through the entire program and have really invested because a lot of them, I would say most of them actually go through the program sort of like gung-ho about it. They have either a personal experience, either like themselves personally, or family members, or like a friend, or they've had a personal experience with it. So it's more than just business for them, or a degree. It's a personal thing for them. They are out to help others and things like that. Sorry, I forget where you.
So just are you able to get students who are interested in doing this?
Yeah. So we are about 50 students currently.
Yeah, it seems like a lot.
Yeah. It's a nice and that's not even counting all of the registrations are a lot more because several students take multiple classes. So. We have, after COVID, seen, a drop, but it's kind of like ironic because there's a higher need than ever.
There sure is. Yeah.
And so one could even wonder if it's because, one can speculate a lot of things, but we're working hard to get just as high an enrollment up because we need all these people. We are working hard to get the numbers up, sort of like as they were pre-COVID. I'm doing a health fair on April 9th, for instance, for not me, like our program, for where we are inviting vendors and treatment providers. And they get to exchange with students on campus and any other guests. And we're having like a former wonderful graduate of ours come and speak about her work experience and her student experience at Moraine. Those are some of the things we do to kind of like create more attention around our field. So.
Well, also coming up is you're having a panel discussion on building a life after addiction.
Right.
And that would be particularly great for not just people who had to, get through this kind of thing, but their families, I would think, too, would be available to come.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this is we're doing that panel discussion on March 26th, and I'm doing it with one of my adjuncts and then faculty from Moraine, from another department. And that panel discussion is really about, as I think it says in the prompt, like, starting the conversation about this. Yeah. Because unfortunately, even though it's getting a lot better, there's still a lot of stigma around these kind of issues. And the more we talk about it, the more normalized it becomes to talk about these difficult issues. And the more it becomes more natural to talk about this, the easier it is for people also to say, hey, I need help. Or to loved ones saying, hey, I'm concerned about my family member here, I need help. And in that way, it's much easier to reach out for help too. And so we need to have conversations about the substance use issue and addictions in general at all kinds of levels, right? And so this panel discussion is to involve the public and involve our community and our students in this conversation so they are more educated and also feel less, feel more confident
and not feel ashamed of that.
Exactly. Yes.
I really think you're right. I mean, we've come such a long way with mental health. This is part of it. And, it used to be, boy, you kept that pretty secret. And I think it's still a little bit of a secret.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's too bad because everyone has something, and maybe your something is that. So that's really great that there's people who are coming to school and learning about that and willing to help other people. And it's interesting to say, it's a passionate kind of job where you want to do it because you do want to help others. It's kind of like teaching.
Yeah.
You know, you don't do it because there's a lot of money, because
Right.
there isn't. But you're doing it because you have this inner drive to do helpful for whatever reason.
Yes,
you know, either your
exactly.
own experience, family experience, or you just want to do
Yeah,
that for the benefit of other people.
Exactly.
Now, with the faculty, who is teaching all these classes to everyone besides you?
Besides me, yes. So in our program, we have 4 other adjuncts, and they're teaching the different classes that are there, and then there's me. I'm currently the only full-time in the program. And I'm, taking care of the coordination and scheduling and
Sure,
and
you're
stuff.
busy.
Yeah, but I love what I do.
Yeah,
so,
that's great that they
yeah,
have somebody like you,
Mm-hmm.
and the students that are there too. So I know there's so many fields that anybody can get into, and now we're learning more and more that police departments and everybody who works with the public is trying to get more educated about some of these things. Do you find that you do have people like the criminal justice system, the healthcare system in general, are trying to find out more, maybe become certified or just take a class, or come to your panel discussions?
Oh, we invite them to these kind of events, and we want them to be present. Maybe even share their own information if possible. And I think it's critical that we work together. That we work as holistically as possible in educating people about this issue and these issues that people are having with this. Because, for instance, like substance use is not just there are some legal issues can be involved with it, right? And so we want to recognize that, and at the same time not just criminalize everybody who does this, because they really need most of them they just need help, and mental health. They need mental help to cope better with life, and so it's a collaborative effort with the legal system, with nursing. Because I have licensure, I have worked and sort of partly step in once in a while, still at a hospital, and we work a lot closely with nurses in many different facilities, including the hospitals. And we work with DUI providers, those who assess and evaluate and then educate anyone who has had a DUI. We work with high school counselors if there's some student there that are struggling, so there are many ways and parts of community that we are in contact with. We want to keep that up, and that also is reflected in our faculty. And they're our adjuncts. They have such a broad background in the field, and they have been working at many different levels at hospitals, as self-employed, as DUI providers, and all of this information we convey or we bring on to the students too, so that they see and they learn about how important it is that we all work together to help this problem, because it's not only personal tragedies, it's also a societal burden. It is very costly for society, both legally, but especially healthcare-wise, to not help these people, or to help these people too late. It's much more costly than to do more preventative work. And that's where it comes in, and that we benefit from working together, all of us, in all kind of disciplines.
Yeah.
And we always invite people to do that in our field.
Yes, I mean that really is so important, and I think, I'm not sure it's because we have such, vast communication now. Everybody knows everything all the time, with phones and videos and all of that. So a lot of us are more aware of the problems that the society has right now. Or was it always there and we just didn't know about it before? So either way, we know that there's a lot of branches on the tree that need to be educated, so we can identify or help family members or whatever. So That is so important right now to work with that. I hope that all 50 people hang in there and work in that field, because that is a challenging field to work with. I mean, you do have to be passionate about that.
We teach the students too about self-care.
Yeah,
because that's another thing. You need to take care of yourself through all of this, because people will relapse, just as people relapse from medical conditions. They can't keep up with this and that. The same thing in alcohol and substance use.
Yes.
So we want people to feel like it's not because I didn't do enough. This person wasn't fully ready, or there's not enough services that supported this person. So self-care for our students is critical too, to teach them that and how to strengthen themselves so that they can be better at, they need to have their cup filled, right, to be able to give.
They really do. I mean, because you become involved with something and you feel responsible and you're doing what you can do, and sometimes things don't go the way you want it to. Right. And that, if you're someone who cares that much about people that you want to do this, you're caring so much that it does affect you too.
Yeah. It does. Yeah, and to some extent, or to a great extent, it's important you're not taking this home with you too much.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes, very much so. Okay, well, this really sounds really great for people to remember. March 26th, it's Building a Life After Addiction. I mean, anybody can go to it, and the panelists are there. You can ask a question, I'm guessing.
Oh, absolutely, yes. We are a panel of 3, and we have a couple of lived experiences and professional information, and the students will be encouraged to ask, or anyone who attends will be encouraged to ask any kind of questions, and we'll be sharing some local resources and ways to get help, and obviously also a lot about our own program.
Yeah, perfect. That's great. And then April 9th, I think you said, was kind of like an open kind of forum to find more out about this.
It's we call it the Alcohol and Drug Health Fair, and that one will be taking place from 10 to 2 on April 9th in our U building cafeteria, and the speaker will be speaking there as well. There's a little adjacent room where she will be talking.
And if you really want to know more about this, you go on the Moraine Valley website. There's a calendar, right? Or there's are you in there somewhere, addiction studies kind of tab?
I would say at this point, anybody can feel free to email me. They can find me, Annie Rasmussen, and I'm, as you mentioned, the coordinator of the Addiction Studies program, and I'll be happy to guide them towards any kind of more information, or happy to answer any questions they may have.
Good to know. We'll put the number up, the email site on our end of the credits, so that you can find out that too, in case you have questions or you're interested in becoming certified in this addiction studies. Annie, thank you so much for coming in. Is there anything else you want to tell our viewers today?
No, I'm come in, become certified, learn about yourself. I have to say maybe one last thing. That one thing is that you can get professionally certified going through this program, but all of our students that complete the program also tell them how beneficial it's been for themselves to go through the program. Personally, they can use it in their personal lives.
Always good to be able to use the information to help yourself, or just know how to handle things. Yeah, very good. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for watching us today on Meet with Moraine. We'll see you next week when we have another guest telling you all about other programs at Moraine Valley Community College. Bye now.